You ever have one of those mornings where the wind doesn't move, the birds don't sing, and your gut tells you something's about to go real sideways? That was me standing on my porch, coffee in hand, watching a sheriff's SUV barrel down the dirt road like I'd set off a bomb. No sirens, just lights. It was the 5th time in 2 months. And every time, it was the same story. The HOA had called in a complaint. Thing is, I don't live in their damn neighborhood, and I'm not part of their HOA. But this time, the deputy wasn't just here to chat. He stepped out, hand near his holster, citation in hand, and said, "Sir, you're being fined for unauthorized construction, noise complaints, and unsafe fencing." I looked at him, then at the land behind meth land I inherited from my granddad. 35 acres of wild beauty he spent his whole life protecting. And now, some sweater vest clowns with a fake badge and a map think they can find me on it? I took that citation, looked him in the eye, and said, "I'm done. I'm taking them to court." Let me back up a bit. Name's Matt Lorne. I live just outside Stoneberg Hollow. In a cabin I built myself, nothing fancy. Just honest living. Horses, goats, pine trees, and silence. Then came the Whispering Falls HOA subdivision with their perfect driveways, smug smiles, and matching mailbox posts. They brought rules, and worse people who lived to enforce them. I never joined, never signed, never agreed. But when I built a simple shed for tools, wood, nails, tin roof, trouble rolled in. A man and woman showed up at the fence line. Dean Whitaker and Cheryl Mayfield. Dean looked like he slept in khakis, and Cheryl had the kind of face that could cut glass with a glance. Dean said, "Your shed violates Greenbelt View ordinances." I said, "This is my land. You don't get a vote." They argued my shed was visible from their walking trail, so it had to follow their HOA standards. I told them to get lost. 2 days later, the sheriff showed up. Then came the parade of nonsense complaints about chainsaw noise at 2 p.m., goats grazing too close to the property line, fencing that looked too threatening. Each time, I had my paperwork ready, deed, permits, all of it. Sheriff Donnie Mercer, good guy, always looked tired, always apologized. But then one visit changed everything. My niece was visiting from the city, 10 years old, sweet as sugar. We were out brushing the horses when the cruiser came flying in again, lights flashing, tires throwing gravel. She screamed, dropped her apple. Horses bolted. The deputy stepped out yelling, "Hands where I can see them." I stepped between him and her. "This is private property. You scare her again, you'll answer to more than a citation." That night, I called my lawyer, Rachel Ford, sharp as a tack and twice as dangerous. She reviewed everything, body cam footage, citations, trail cam videos, and said, "Let's sue. Not just for the fine for harassment, trespassing, false reports, and emotional distress." We filed, and suddenly, the HOA panicked. They called an emergency meeting and sent me a weak offer to settle. I wrote back, "No." Then the local paper caught wind of the mess Rachel had a contact there. Next thing you know, the HOA's dirty laundry was on full display. Residents were furious. One older couple stood up and said, "Why are we spending HOA money to chase a man who doesn't live here?" Cheryl stammered something about harmony and view preservation. Someone yelled, "Then plant a damn tree." And just like that, it went viral. Clipboard Karen became a meme. But the heat came home, too. One morning, I found the east fence cleanly cut. 3 goats missing. Trail cam footage showed headlights at 2 a.m. and a blurry figure in a Whispering Falls HOA polo. I took it to Donnie. "I believe you," he said, rubbing his eyes. "But unless we catch him, then ride with me next time. Because next time, I'm calling the state police." That night, 1 a.m. sharp. Black SUV pulls up. Dean Whitaker steps out, flashlight in hand, sweeping it across my barn like he's inspecting his own backyard. I step out. Dean, you're being recorded. He freezes. Drop the lawsuit. Lauren, you're dragging the whole community down. Then stay off my land. Next time, it's a judge you'll be explaining that to. The next day, Rachel dropped a bombshell. Turns out, that nature trail the HOA kept crying about, it was built 16 feet over my property line. We pulled the survey, permit filings, satellite maps. They were trespassing the entire time. We updated the lawsuit land encroachment, damages. Oh, and fraud. Because guess what? Dean had bought himself a new ATV. With HOA funds, Cheryl had paid her brother's fake landscaping company $14,000 for work that never happened. Then it got real nasty. My mailbox burned to the ground. Ashes, melted metal, and a rock with a note taped to it. Drop the case or else. I uploaded everything: photos, videos, burned mailbox to Facebook. Within 48 hours, the story exploded. Over 100,000 views. The state attorney general stepped in. Rachel subpoenaed their finances. And guess who got caught on a neighbor's driveway cam the night of a break-in at my cabin? Dean's cousin, Randy. Hoodie, duffel bag, caught clear as day. That's when the dam burst. The AG's office raided the HOA's building, shredded papers, secret accounts, shell companies. Turns out, this wasn't just about me. It was a system, a playbook. Target isolated property owners, harass them, find them into submission, then take the land. Also, developers could flip it for profit. Carl Benson, the former HOA treasurer, vanished the day before court. Found later at least what was left of him in a burned-out truck 4 miles from my place. No body, just his phone and the stench of gasoline. Then came a flash drive. No sender, just a video. Carl's face hollow, scared. If you're watching this, I didn't make it. It's bigger than you think. He was right. Politicians, councilmen, developers all in on it. Rachel and I laid it all bare in court. The judge didn't blink. Awarded me $1, $1 million, plus full title rights, public apology from the HOA, and dismantling of the entire board. But you know what meant more? Peace. I rebuilt. My niece visits every week now. My goats are safe. And on my barn, a big red sign she painted, and no HOAs allowed. But here's the kicker. A few days later, I get a letter. No name. No return address. Inside, a photo of Councilman Oakley shaking hands with a developer 5 years ago, same guy tied to the Whispering Falls expansion plan. On the back, just one sentence. He wasn't the first. He won't be the last. So, yeah, the fight might be over for me, but maybe not for all of us. Drop a comment below if you've ever had to push back against bullies with a badge or a bylaw. Tell me where you're watching from, and if you've ever been told to stay quiet. Maybe it's time to make some noise. Because when you shine light on corruption, it doesn't survive the heat.